All right, today we are talking about a story that is truly unprecedented. It's where presidential power, personal fortune, and the, let's face it, wild world of cryptocurrency all slam into each other. We're going to dig into how Donald Trump's own bank account got so deeply tangled up with an industry that was absolutely desperate for a powerful friend in Washington. So let's just jump right in with a big question. How on earth did Donald Trump manage to more than double his fortune to $5.1 billion in a single year? The answer isn't just a simple number, though. It's a really complex story of how one man's financial desperation collided head-on with a global industry's fight for its own survival. You see, to really get what's going on here, you have to understand that there were two major stories playing out at the exact same time. On one side, you had a president under enormous financial pressure, and on the other, you had an entire industry staring down an existential threat from government regulators. So first, let's set the stage. To really appreciate the scale of this financial turnaround, you have to grasp just how much of a bind Donald Trump was in at the beginning of 2024. Just look at this number. We're talking about a civil fraud judgment against him in New York for $454 million. This wasn't just some slap on the wrist. The state's attorney general was openly talking about seizing his assets. We're talking famous buildings like 40 Wall Street. His actual cash was under serious threat. And then, in a flash, everything changed. It was like a rapid-fire series of events that completely flipped his financial situation. First, an appeals court steps in and slashes the bond he needs to post, which gave him a ton of breathing room. Just days after that, Truth Social's parent company goes public, and his fortune on paper just explodes by billions. But here's the key. That was paper wealth. It was his pivot to crypto after the election that started bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars in cold, hard cash. Now, remember I said there were two stories? Well, while all that was going on with Trump's finances, the crypto industry was in a full-on war for its life. They were fighting U.S. regulators, especially the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. And the entire future of this multi-billion-dollar industry was basically hanging on this one thing, the Howey Test. And you got to hear this. It's a legal standard from a Supreme Court case in 1946. And it was about an orange grove in Florida. It's kind of wild to think that this old case is now being used to decide the fate of 21st century digital money. So what is it? Well, it basically asks four questions. Is there an investment of money in a group project with the hope of making a profit? And does that profit come from other people doing the work? If a crypto project checks all four of those boxes, then boom, the SEC can treat it just like a stock. And for an industry built on the idea of decentralization, that is a total nightmare. Avoiding that security label was everything. So what happens next? You've got a president-elect who needs a whole lot of cash, and you've got a massive industry that needs a break from regulators. The two stories were about to become one. And just like that, the money started to pour in. Big time. According to reports, major crypto companies, many of them right in the SEC's crosshairs, funneled at least $10 million into Trump's inaugural fund. And would you look at who's leading the pack? Ripple, a company in a huge legal battle with the SEC with a $5 million donation. And the connection here became incredibly direct and personal. This document you're looking at isn't a news report. It's from the president's own official financial disclosure form. And it shows clear as day that he owns a 75% stake in a company called WLF Holdco, which is the holding company for a new crypto venture called World Liberty Financial. This wasn't just campaign support anymore. This was a direct business partnership. And man, did that partnership turn out to be profitable. Forbes went through the numbers and estimated that entities connected to Trump raked in around $390 million in pre-tax revenue from these crypto deals. That is a huge infusion of cash right when you need it at the most. So one of these ventures was a so-called meme coin called, you guessed it, the Trump token. Now, these coins usually have no stated purpose or real-world use. It's all about hype and speculation. And this one set off an absolute frenzy. A digital gold rush for a lucky few and a complete bust for many, many others.
Because the blockchain is public, data analytics firms like Chainalysis can see what happened. And the split is just staggering. A tiny group of just 58 crypto wallets, let's call them the insiders, walked away with a combined $1.1 billion in profit. Meanwhile, over 764,000 wallets, mostly regular retail investors, actually lost money on it.
So, all this money is flying around, but what did the crypto industry actually get for its investment? This wasn't just happening in a vacuum. The real question is, did all that financial support actually buy them access and influence in Washington? Well, the evidence suggests the answer is a big yes. Top investors in that Trump coin were treated to some pretty extraordinary perks. We're talking a fancy black-tie gala at a Trump golf club. The top 25 token holders, they were promised a special VIP White House tour. And this wasn't just for sightseeing. One investor actually told ABC News they were invited to the White House specifically to, quote, talk about crypto industry. Now, check this out. This is where it gets really, really interesting. Look at the date on this court filing, February 26th, 2025. In it, the Trump administration's SEC agrees to hit the pause button on a major fraud case against a crypto entrepreneur named Justin Sun. Why is that date so significant? Well, this filing came just 1 month after that very same Justin Sun invested $75 million into World Liberty Financial, the crypto venture that, as we now know, funnels revenue straight to Trump. So let's zoom out a bit. All of this plugs directly into a huge debate that's been going on for years about the Trump presidency, this unprecedented merging of public office and private business. For decades, there's been a clear tradition. When you become president, you make a clean break from your businesses. You put them in a blind trust or something similar. Ethics experts, like former Obama advisor Norm Eisen, have always said this is crucial, to make sure your decisions are for the public good, not your personal bottom line. But Trump's team has always pushed back hard against that idea. Their argument, which his financial advisor laid out back in 2017, is basically that his business empire is his brand. It's his identity. And you shouldn't expect him to just dismantle the company he spent his life building. And that's really where this leaves us. This combination, a president's private businesses getting all tangled up with the policy goals of a powerful industry, it creates a situation we've never really seen before in American history. It blurs all the traditional lines and leaves us with a really critical question to think about. When things get this intertwined, where exactly do you draw the line between doing business and doing the duties of the highest office in the land?